You just write a note. She will here, and she will know some of the academy maker.
Well, it's not somebody I want to his sister did it.
Yeah, the whole, yeah, who you're looking for, she might know them. And she has a better shot of me. Sorry. Are we delaying everything?
No.
Okay. Thank you, Steve, for being honest. Want me to make a motion to call the meeting to order?
We're all set. Let's go.
Real set. All right, folks, so at about 4 minutes past 6, we'd like to call the meeting to order. Angelina, can you handle the roll call, please?
Evie Dundas,
Present.
Zachary Carey,
Here.
Steve Minor,
Here.
Paul Wright,
Here,
Tamara De Martinez.
Here.
if we could rise to the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Adoption of last month's meeting.
I would like to place a motion to approve the minutes of the June 4th, 2025 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting held in the Troy Council chambers.
I will second that.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Take a roll call.
Okay. Easy roll call vote.
Second.
No, it's been made and seconded.
Oh, aye. Sorry.
Aye.
Approve.
Approved.
Approve.
Go right into. the
Okay.
agenda.
Welcome everybody here tonight, and we're going to start off with PLZBA 2024-0014. State your name and who you're representing, please, and address.
Hello, my name is Andrew Donovan with the engineering firm of Andrew J. Donovan, PEPC. I'm here, the applicant representing the owners of 2412 15th Street. So would you like a little background on our project?
Please.
Okay, so we started this process in March of 2024. We went before the zoning board of appeals, prior zoning board of appeals, for a use variance. The building is, it was one time a home, had a history of commercial use. The ownership of the building wanted to reuse it commercially. So we requested a use variance to create 2 commercial uses within the building. That was approved by the zoning board of appeals on the condition that we got planning commission approval. So we began the process with the prior planning commission that rolled into mid last year, late last year, rolled into the new planning board. And as we worked through the process, because this building is to the north uphill of 15th Street or of Hoosick Street on 15th, we were not required to have any on-site parking for this use in the zone that it's in. But what we did is we moved forward to attempt to create some on-site parking, just to reduce or possibly eliminate any need for parking on 15th Street in this location. We were made aware of the 25-foot setback because it is technically a residential zone, the 25-foot setback, the best we could do was get 2 parking spaces on this lot. So we worked with planning through the planning board and got the 2 spaces to work fine. Upon the conditional approval of planning, they requested that we return to the zoning board of appeals for the area variance to the 25-foot setback. Given this site's constraints, The best we're ever gonna do are 4 spots on this lot, on this site. So the site plan that was submitted showing the 4 spaces, we've entered this process because there may be room to move something here or there. We've requested the 0-foot setback. We have the green space out in the front. We have the sidewalk. It'll never be a 0-foot setback. And as the present site plan shows, we really have an 18-foot setback that we can work with. And so we're asking that we can get an area variance for this property to be able to not have any setback requirements.
So there's gonna be 4 parking.
We're gonna have 4 parking spaces on
I
it.
thought you put a new sidewalk in there.
Yep. Yeah, and the original project was, our goal was to, if anybody remembers the site once upon a time, you just drove in perpendicular off of 15th Street and parked wherever you could. So we've now controlled it with an entrance exit. So with all of our turning radiuses, vehicle spaces and everything, the 4 is the best we can do, but we've done what we can to help control traffic flow and movement on the site. So we'll have 4 spaces.
Okay.
No, I don't have any questions.
Are there any questions out there in the audience? on this? Any questions online?
So I have a concern. The staff report says that there was previously a seeker done. This is an unlisted action, so no lead agency is necessary. The prior ZBA apparently did a seeker for a use variance, and the planning board did a seeker for a site plan, I believe. But I think you need to do a separate seeker determination for the
Area.
for this area variance that they're seeking.
Was a short environmental assessment form done?
For both planning and
It was done.
for both planning.
We have it
and
on
zoning.
file.
She's saying we have it on file. Okay. You have it on file?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to get a motion for the area variance.
Well, for the
Seeker first.
determination whether or not this will have no significant adverse effect on the environment. In other words, a negative, whether or not it's a negative, qualifies for a negative determination.
A negative declaration.
So we have a motion.
You want to make that motion? Yeah. Mr. Chairperson, and with regards to PLZBA 2024-0014, as supported by the staff reports and my understanding of a short environmental assessment form on file with the zoning board of appeals, I ask that the board find this proposal to be an unlisted action with sufficient information available for a negative declaration.
I'll second that.
Those in favor?
Aye.
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 Now you can proceed to the variance.
Questions?
I don't have any questions.
I don't
have any
questions.
Okay. We have a motion. We accept the variance.
That's an area variance.
Yeah, it's an area variance, right?
Correct.
I move that the board approve the variance based on the following findings of fact. The variance will not create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood or determine the nearby properties if it is granted, because you're adding parking spaces. We only need one for an area variance, right?
Can
Correct.
provide more.
If you have more.
Yeah,
you
Yeah.
can
it's
cite
better.
them.
The benefits sought by the applicant may not be achieved by some feasible method other than the proposed variance. I think that's good.
Who would second that motion?
I'll second it.
Oh, you're second, sorry. I vote to approve.
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 Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, the next business is PLZBA 2025-0005. Is there anyone here from?
That's the table, the
If
one.
they
that-
re-
So this, what we're doing is we're gonna table this. We were asked by the client to table it till next month.
and
The
this
applicant.
is-
Yeah.
Not our clients.
I second.
This one, I will.
I
bring it to our
approve.
attention that
Approve.
we're going to table that
I would vote yes, table it.
demolition. So I'm not sure.
Approve.
like-
Yes.
Five approvals.
So it's table.
Table.
Correct.
PLZBA 2025-0035. Is there anyone here from Central Rock Gym?
You mean 0023? Right.
0035.
I have 23.
Good evening, everyone.
No.
Hold on one second.
Yep.
Okay, I need to amend that. We need to go with PLZBA 2025-0023. Well, you're welcome to come up.
That's,
Wait,
I think they think that
that's-
it's somebody
isn't
else.
that the
because they
same
changed
one?
it.
547
No.
River Street.
Yeah.
No, that's you.
No, that was them. That just, it's got two. This
This
is for
is it?
Central Rock. Central Rock just came up.
Yeah. We want you up here. Okay. Okay.
Can
We
we,
just had,
can we put on the record the two reference numbers?
it's got two different numbers.
That's
Why-
different
right.
numbers.
Yeah.
Why does it have two?
Why do, yeah.
Why would it have
The-
one number?
The former
do you have?
one was
I've got two,
denied.
three.
23 is the number.
Okay,
Well,
Tonight's number is 2.
three.
They reapplied.
No,
So
what do you have, Rick?
It's a
I have
different
23.
request.
Two,
I asked on the South
Two-
plan.
I'm sorry,
No,
wait a
the
second.
published agenda says 3-5.
right.
I have
so
2-3 on the staff report.
Mine says
That's
two,
what I'm
three.
looking at.
The published agenda. So that it was noticed for 3-5.
Right,
I think that, yeah, the staff report has the old one, but the one that was published on the records, it's 3-5. So that's what we'll go with,
Wait, 3-5 or?
right.
because it's a new application,
So
Uh,
3-5.
But can we state for the record that
Yes.
they had applied once before
Yes,
under the number 2025-0023?
correct.
It was denied and they reapplied under PLZBA 2025-0035. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Correct. Correct. Because,
I don't have the staff.
I didn't send it.
So,
Begin, right?
well,
Yeah.
I think first we need to know what's the difference between this application and the one that was denied?
The location.
Is that where you hung the clock one up now?
Correct. That is where the cloth one went up. Yes, correct. So, Angelina, are you able to bring up the images I sent you this morning or no? I have some
No.
papers I could, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
I made it a point to draw it. I just saw it today. I had not seen it.
So, my name's Jamie Coloratolo here on behalf of Vital Sign representing Central Rock Gym. Nate Betty with me. And we moved the sign from the exterior stairwell over to an area on the building that was actually intended for sign use anyway, right? Yeah, so the building was built for that purpose in that area. So Size is the same as it would have been on the stairwell. We just moved it right over to there. The backer panel that you're seeing in the photos is not a lighted sign at all. It's existing as a panel for the letters to sit on, so we're not drilling a ton of holes into the building. It just mounts with a couple angle pieces throughout. So, and that was at the request for Betty and Crane or First Columbia. So I think this area looks good. It's visible from River Street going north.
Will the sign that the permanent sign be any different from the banner sign that you have now?
Definitely. Yeah, look much nicer. Yeah, they're gonna be front lit channel letters, so lighted at night with a photo eye, turn on when it gets dark. So pretty standard in our industry anyway.
I have a question.
Sure.
Instead of the sign facing River Street, parallel with River Street, you've moved it to where that banner is now. Is that correct? Is that your proposal?
Yes, yeah. So originally it was on that exterior stairwell visible from alternate 7, but
Correct.
Like the tower.
yeah. So we decided to move it here. And when I spoke to Nate, he actually informed me that when they designed the building, that square, that blue square was intended for a sign. So that was kind of the intention when they did the design for
That's
the
where
building.
it is now, the banner.
That's where that banner is, the 10th banner. Yeah.
What size of square footage is that banner?
That banner is 18 feet by 7 feet.
18 by
7?
7.
Yep.
And the permitted sign area is 60 square feet, correct?
48.
48.
48.
So it says, I think we're looking for a leaf of 95, but the backer panel that you're seeing in the photos, it's the blue matched backer panel that the letters sit on. That's not lighted. I mean, I guess it's considered a sign for the municipality, but it's just a panel that it sits on. So the letters are not going to be 145 square feet.
No, but I just want to make sure that, but the rectangle, the blue rectangle that says Central
This was
Rock
flat.
Gym,
The one.
that's sitting on
The
the big
picture
blue
is flat.
square.
Sure.
So forget the big blue square,
Yeah.
because that's there.
Yep.
That already exists.
Yeah.
That's just a big blue square.
Right.
So but the Central Rock Gym is, what's the dimension of that? What, yay by yay?
Of the building, the blue square on the
No,
building.
of
Oh, the backer panel,
sign
it's,
That says Central Rock Gym with a rock climber.
yep. So that is, I believe, 19 feet
19,
wide.
19?
Yep. By 92 inches tall. So about 7.5.
That's it. You said 19 by 7.5?
Yeah, roughly. Like 144.6 square feet, I believe, is what the actual panel is.
Right.
And it's basically acting as an extension of the building so that the letters can sit on that instead of drilling a ton of holes in the building.
So have you just tried to see what 60 square feet looks like?
Yeah.
And what does it look like? Do you have an example of that?
It doesn't stand out. The client doesn't, they hate it. It's tiny in that area. It's just not as visible as they'd like it to be.
Last time we granted the canopy, right?
Sure. Yep.
So that's in the back.
This is the back.
Yeah.
Right.
You indicate that it will be appropriately lit to maintain visibility without causing disruption. How will it be appropriately lit?
Well, it will only be lit at night, and the faces diffuse the light so that it's not overly bright and accentuated in that way. We use all standard, 7000 K is what it's called, pure white LEDs. The faces they're acrylic white faces, so they diffuse light, just so it's visible at night, but it's not blinding, like pretty much any standard sign in the area.
Are the lights behind, on top, or around?
So the letter is, it's a 4-inch deep letter. It's a channel letter. So it's a
Right.
4-inch deep letter, and the lights sit inside that facing out, and then the face goes on top, and the lights get diffused through the
projection.
face.
Do we have any code restrictions on that type of lighting?
That's what every
What
sign.
kind of lighting?
Oh, what-
Yeah, the same lighting for the one on the
Not within
canopy
that
too.
district.
Same exact sign,
For
basically, but-
downtown, yes, but not within that
Not,
district.
not there, right?
Yeah.
In the DMU,
Right,
the
They are,
downtown business district, I think there is a restriction, but
they are
they're
out of that
outside.
restriction.
Can you move the thing over to see the sign again?
Oh.
On the building?
Is that true to scale there?
Not really. I sent Angelina, well, the ones I passed around actually today are more true to scale than that. That's actually initially what Nate had sent me before I even got this project. Go ahead.
So this iteration that you see is actually very close to what we submitted during site plan approval, which we had this background blue square saved for the client to use for tenant signage. The tenant actually requested to us to put the signage that would go here on the stair tower, which we said, that's all right if that's what you guys want to do. And then obviously we went before you last month. You guys denied that sign. So we're coming back to represent it here where it actually was originally intended to go. And that was actually published in our site plan approval back in 2021, when this whole package went through the planning commission at that time.
Can you see it from when you're coming down Hoosick Street, getting on alternate Route 7? Can you see that sign?
No, this is below the bridge
Yeah, I don't
deck, so
think
you'll
so.
not see it from the highway deck.
So.
The
so I-
staircase sign you could see from the highway.
The other one, well, yes,
You
because
can
that
see
is
it as you come
way
down.
up here where
But not
this is
on
below
alternate
the
Route 7.
bridge. The bridge comes up to just about the fourth floor of the Flanagan Building's windows right here.
It's under it.
Yeah.
Yes, so this is under the bridge, which to your comment last month, you can't see this from the highway overpass anymore.
Well, so I appreciate this. I think this is in a nicer location. What I don't understand is when anybody's building a building, why don't they just appropriate the building around what's allocated instead of ask for something bigger?
So if you remember, we got approved under the old code, which had a larger allowance for signage. And since we're now in the new zoning code, we're subject to that for signs. So this was predicated on the former code that was relevant until the middle of 2023. And that's what you see as a backdrop. That was designed for that particular code set. Now we're in the new code. And that's why we're here asking for relief, because we had it actually pass through the planning board, SHPO, NPS, with that as the kind of theme for the whole signage design. And now we're just trying to adapt to the new zoning ordinance.
So the variant you're looking for is really for the white lettering, not the big blue box.
Yes, because the blue box, as you look at it, really is already there. So what Jamie was trying to articulate was the signed lettering is really all you'll noticeably see. That's a difference from what's there right now, not without the banner, but just the backdrop of that larger blue square.
Do you feel it could be reduced at all,
I'm
the lettering?
hesitant to reduce it, one for our client trying to keep it scaled to their sizing, but I also think it scales better to the square backdrop the way it is. That was the comment to go, if we're going to ratchet it down to the allowable signage amount for square footage, it would look really tiny in the context of that large blue background.
I think there's about 2 feet on each side. That's of the square on the building. There's 2 feet from the backer panel itself. You have 2 on the right, 2 on the left.
What about above and below?
Above and below. A lot more.
Trying to figure out what's the scale model?
I think he said that was the scale.
Yeah, you have about,
I got two. I don't know which one.
Oh, I only saw the one.
about 6 feet top and bottom. From the backer panel. It's more of a horizontal logo than it is tall.
Which is the scale one? This one or this one?
This one, what we're talking about. Yeah.
We got, yeah, which one is the scale?
I only saw that. That's the only one. I see.
Would you like to see this?
No, I got one. He's got it up there.
Okay.
So there's 6 feet on top, and
Rough-
6 feet on the bottom.
Roughly, yes.
And then the letters.
And yeah, correct, on the backer panel and then 2 feet on each side.
I mean, if it did go smaller, you could still put something decorative that's not a sign per se. to
I don't think
fill up
the
that space.
tenant really wants to do that, though. It's nice, clean backdrop and it scales nicely to their logo design.
Have you had any of the neighbors, any comments from the neighbors or anything? Is it-
I would say the neighbors have been very favorable to the entire master plan, not just this, but the grocery store, the apartments and everything. And I actually wanted to comment this to the board is this is the poorest census tract, not just in Troy, it's the whole capital district is North Central. It's a 48% poverty rate. They have been starved for commercial growth for a long time. And what we've tried to do with this project is bring in a lot of commercial growth to help stimulate some activity and make it a more safe community and just give them some shot in the arm of economic activity. And that kind of requires change like this to come in. What we wanted to do with the city is be collaborative and try and welcome in a tenant like this who is a great operator. They're one of the largest commercial rock gym operators in the country. And they don't really need to come to Troy, but we fought really hard to convince them to be at this spot because we thought it was important for the neighborhood and we thought it was a great fit for their type of demographic that they go after. Their perfect customer, they told me a long time ago, was the engineering professional and student. And what better place in this region to put them than the city where RPI is located? So I wanted to just comment that to say, we worked really hard to bring them to Troy. And I'd like to try and get them the signage that they're asking for to make sure that their facility is successful and that this is a great place that everybody can be proud of after we're done. That it was a great success story and it's brought a lot of good positive qualities to the neighborhood.
Have you? oh,
It's
go-
open now, right?
It's about to open. They're getting ready to finalize their opening date in the next couple of weeks.
Have you noticed any traffic issues, people getting distracted?
Nope.
Any slowdowns or anything?
I think we need traffic on that part of River Street. Honestly, it's been
Well-
way too quiet for a long time, just with nothing going on. And that's kind of what we're trying to do is bring more activity and commerce to that part of the city.
In a safe manner?
Yes.
Yeah,
Well, my point is there's capacity on River Street
Right.
for people
No,
to
I-
be going there.
I mean, I think it's the whole concept is fine, and it needs a sign, obviously, because when you drive by, you're like, I don't know what that is. I'm just stuck on the size. That's my stuck.
I think the size is appropriate. I do this every day, all day, every week, all week. I grew up with my father owns the business. I run the business. There's a big difference between over the top and just right, and I think this is just right for the space anyway.
I think your blue background is good. I think it would look good. I would just ask you respectfully to reduce the size of some of those letters. Bring it down to maybe somewhere between what they allow you and what you're asking for.
So if we keep the backer panel the same size and we reduce the letters, you're gonna have a lot of open space around. So we have to reduce the backer panel too. I have to proportionally scale this sign. So I can't take it, stretch it wide, leave it the height. You know what I'm saying? I have to scale it down, height, width, all the same. So those letters sit at 36 inches tall. When they're up on the building, they look 20 inches tall, maybe, right? Because they're up on the building. So
So they're 3 feet, they're that big. So in doing the calculations without the blue background, that will come to about 67. What is the height, excluding the blue?
yeah,
Because
I think-
it was different from the rest of the building, so I thought it was part of the sign area. And the way our code it's written, and
part of the sign that is different from the rest of the building is considered the sign area.
So you mean the
But I
back
saw,
panel?
yeah,
Yeah.
so I included that in the calculation, so
Okay.
it looks like you are giving a different,
So I could have had,
the-
I could have had them, put that panel up without me making it as an extension of the building, right? So it would have just been on the side of the building, and then I could have attached my letters to it, but they hired me to build that too. So,
no, that is fine, so if you were to consider just the
just the
the
letters.
sign, yes,
Yep, so
The-
that's the logo itself on the left is 3x3. Or no, it's not 3x3. Yeah, it is. That's 6x6, right? Correct.
so that would be, I think, what is it?
You got 36.
Is it
square feet.
136?
Yeah, you got 36 square feet just in the logo.
No, if I want to calculate everything like together, because it's, I don't wanna see, not a,
With the backer?
no, with the letters, the logo with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think right now, so.
So logo's 36.
Yeah.
36 high.
Oh, I have it.
That's
6x6
what-
square.
The
So it's
logo-
actually a little less because they cut the corners off.
The
so
logo's
I call it
76
6
high.
back.
She's actually.
76?
Yeah,
70.
I'll
It's
show
got
the one.
76 high on the rock climber.
It's about 39.69 square feet for the logo.
So, I was thinking from since we're not gonna calculate this, so
All right,
from right here,
yeah.
right here, that is 136.
Can't see where the line goes, but yeah, probably.
136
This
is
is the line.
the R to the M.
It's the R to the M.
R to the M
Rock
is
chip.
130,
Rock chip.
136.
36.
And then the combo letters are
And then from here,
36 plus 36.
and from here is 76.
So you got 34 for rock chip square feet. You got 39.6 for the logo, and then 115.
76 times 136. divided by 144.
30. So it's like 102 square feet roughly for just the letters. Without the fence.
102.
Yep.
Including the logo.
Correct.
Okay, what if we do it this way? I don't know if that is. The length of this is 136 inches. Which one is less? Less of the. This multiply by that.
Sorry, say that again?
So the length of this from here, from the start of the. logo
Yep.
To the end, to the end,
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
by this, by the height of.
So you want to do the
Yeah,
back,
she's
you're
there.
saying what if the backer panel was just,
No, not the back, I'm not talking. about the
Yep.
back, because this is the beginning of the logo.
Yep.
This is the beginning of the logo.
Okay.
Which one is, which one?
Yep.
You got rid of the
I only
panel.
got 90.
What about this?
They said 102.
I think, Angelina, are you saying this to limit the height of the entire signage by this dimension?
Because it's
shrink
equal to the
these?
other side.
Yes.
I think what she's saying is if the sign started at
With
the
that,
logo, so the rock climber and the letters
Mhm.
equals 106 square feet.
Yeah,
What you're saying?
yeah, 136.
Well, I rounded up.
oh, sorry.
That's
Yeah.
okay, but we're close. We're in this, we're in the same ballpark.
Yeah,
How did you, I mean, I got 90.77. I don't know how you got it.
it's,
Is it 76 high?
Yeah, 76 by 76 is the,
So it's 76.
It's
Excluding-
Plus
76 here, 75.98, call
Yeah,
it
so
76.
36.25.
That's-
Okay.
But that's
About
for,
1140.
yeah, that's the whole width. And then-
including the back.
Do you need a panel? Can you adhere it right into
So
your
the
blue
reason I want
square?
the panel is because it's a corrugated building, right? So it's got ribs in it. So for us to hit those is like ridiculously hard to flush mount it, and then it's causing so many holes in the building. You know what I mean? If that tenant ever were to move out, then they got holes everywhere. Huh?
Can we
Yeah.
reduce the panel?
I mean, we can,
I mean,
or,
to be honest with you, you don't even know, you're not gonna notice it
well, that's the point.
with the
I mean, it's the
blue.
same
Well,
That's-
I
that's-
understand
yeah,
that's the point,
yeah.
but at the same rate, just trying to,
I mean, we could put it on rail, Yeah, of course.
What's that?
So we could put it on a raceway. A raceway is basically like half the size of what the letter is. And it's just a raceway that sits behind and the letter sits onto it. It's fastened to it. And we just hang that on the building. It's color matched to the building. Just, it's basically like a smaller version of the backer panel that sits behind Central, and then it would sit behind Rock Gym. Yeah.
It will still be lit?
The raceway is not, the signs will be lit. So what he's describing, it's a channel that follows behind the
Yep.
series of letters like this
Yep.
and that. So there's no backer panel for the whole assembly. It's just a strip and a strip with one power penetration in each one. And they just have a power penetration for this logo. So we'd have more holes through the wall, but it's only 3, not a million of them for every letter. And that's all you would have behind this. And like Jamie's saying, it's a color matched piece of plastic or metal that just sits behind all the raised lettering. So in the channeling of our siding, hopefully we can just hide it. It will sit in one of those recesses and it blends, and it's less overall sign area for the thing we're trying to install in the building.
So yeah, then the square footage would be true to the outside of all the letters.
But ZBA has to know that based off their current calculation of the sign, it means what we notice is much higher than what they are actually proposing. Because if they are excluding the backdrop, it's gonna be, from your calculation, 102.
About roughly 100 square
But we
feet.
noticed for 145, so it's much lower than what was noticed.
Right, no, I understand that.
Okay.
I think that's-
Is the backer plate going to buy?
Yes, if the sign gets approved, if that's what it takes, sure.
Is there any comment from? Any comments from anybody online?
No,
No.
there's no,
Do you have to have a sample of what that kind of sign looks like? Even if you can't do. Oh,
Yeah, like any of the lit letters, like even the ones on the building that, what is it, the storage space right across the street, extra space, the Courtyard Marriott, same thing. It's all channel, it's called channel letters.
Channel letters.
Yeah.
Make a motion, we do the secret on this.
oh,
So
well, first I want to ask
new, so-
Corporation Counsel a question.
yeah, and it's new, so- Yeah, it's unlisted.
Mr.
Yeah, go
Morrissey,
ahead.
was, or if a short environmental assessment form was submitted by the applicant under the prior application that was denied, can that be used for the current application, since it materially?
so they represented this is a different, because of location, it's a different application. That's why we're allowing it.
Right, but the,
So I don't know if they submitted the EAF or not.
Yes, everything was submitted, I
Everyone
guess,
submitted?
because it's the same thing, that's what you included, yes,
What?
yes,
but,
Okay, so there, she's saying that
it's the
Okay.
same,
the
yeah,
staff has an EAF.
right, but
Yes.
would that, since it's a reapplication, would that short form still be applicable to both
I
applications?
thought it
Yeah.
was a new one.
It's not a reapplication.
Oh, is it a new one?
That's why
It's
the
a new one.
application
it's
is
a
not
new
real.
application.
Oh, so they have a new short form
Yeah.
with the new application? Oh,
It's,
okay.
this one, it's usually it's submitted the same one, even though like nothing has
They
changed on
could've
the property.
submitted- I don't know what was submitted.
Yeah, it's the same thing, but they kind of submitted the application. So it's the same information, everything is the same, nothing
Same
changes,
information, except
nothing changes on the seeker
On the
for, yeah,
seeker.
yeah.
It didn't change, it didn't change.
Well, if a new one was submitted, I'll go ahead with the motion then. Mr. Chairperson, in regard to PLZBA 2025-0035, as supported by the staff reports and the new short environmental assessment form submitted by the applicant for this current application, I ask that the board find this proposal to be an unlisted seeker action with sufficient information available for a negative declaration.
I second.
Then seconded. You need
Um,
you need to call
I-
for a vote. Vote.
I vote to approve.
I vote to approve.
Approve. Approve.
Approve.
Thank you.
No.
No, 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 no,
Oh, sorry. Now we gotta go for the.
I move that the board approve the variance with the condition that you're going to use channel letters.
Yep.
Based on the following, the following findings of fact. The benefit sought by the applicant may not be achieved by some feasible method other than the proposed variance. The requested variance is not sustainable.
It's not
Substantial.
Substantial, excuse me. The variance, if granted, will not have an adverse effect or impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood or district.
And we need to add to that, that they're getting rid of the initial back plaque.
I added that by saying the channel letter also, but as a condition, you're not gonna have the back report.
Correct.
But that was the channel letter. That was,
Well, they're all channel letters.
They were always channel
They're always
letters,
channel
but the
letters.
backer panel's
Yeah.
now just hidden behind each letter set.
I will second that.
I vote to approve.
approve.
Approve. Approve.
Approve.
Is that like the real one?
Yes.
All right.
Substantive.
All right,
I hope we get written up in the TU for approving something.
Maybe.
Based on your application.
Thank you.
You don't have to come back yet.
Okay, next business is PLZBA 2025-0037, 84th Street.
Oh, that's this one.
Hello,
Hello.
my name is Kyle Engstrom. I'm with ME Studio Architects representing the owner, Amahai Ullman. Okay. So 84th Street is currently mostly vacant, but still occupied. One apartment is still occupied. So there's two existing structures. The front, we call it the front house building, which is currently a vacant commercial space on the ground floor and 3 apartments, one of them being occupied. We are looking to convert that into 8 apartments and the commercial space to remain. The carriage house, which I'll get to in a second, is, well, I'll cover it now. The carriage house is going to be reconstructed to accommodate 4 apartments. I'm here today because there's some contention here in terms of this new ordinance about the 700 square foot average apartment required for existing buildings. This is something that we were very careful to meet in the front house building. Within the average of the 8 apartments, we're at, I think, 720 square feet. So we're checking that requirement there. I think it's actually 742 square feet to be exact. The carriage house is effectively in disrepair. We are salvaging the rear facade for historic purposes. But essentially it's a new building. When we're done with the initial demolition, not much of that carriage house will be left. We're effectively doing new footing, new floor plates, new exterior walls, new roof. So it's really, I think, categorically a new building.
Are you sprinklering that building?
Yes. Yeah. So in my initial talks with the building department, it was my impression that it was effectively, again, categorically a new construction and therefore would not really be held to this 700 square foot rule in the new zoning law. So, you know, we have 4 apartments in that carriage house. I think they average to roughly 350 square feet. So they are, affordable studio / 1-bedroom apartments. And that's where we're at. So we're seeking essentially for a variance to do that there.
Were there apartments in the carriage house before?
Historically, I don't think so. I don't know the history of the carriage house, but it's vacant now. There's no signs that it was ever an apartment historically. But again, it is vacant and largely in disrepair. And so, I think if this project wasn't happening, that carriage house would likely be needing serious remediation regardless.
I have a question. When you stand on 4th Street and you face the front of the building, you have a storefront, correct?
Correct.
Is the storefront going to become an apartment? Or is the storefront going to be a storefront?
Storefront will remain a storefront.
Okay, then in addition to the storefront, as I face the building, how many additional apartments over and above the storefront are there?
So in that building, which we're calling the front building that faces 4th Street, we'll have 8 apartments and the 1 commercial space.
On 3 floors, right? Eight apartments on 3 floors.
Yeah, well, there's technically, let me see. There is currently a mezzanine level that we're tying into the top units, but there's really 4 floors in total. Once you account for that.
How many
level.
apartments?
Including the ground. So is the commercial in the front and there's gonna be residential in the back?
Above. Three stories above the commercial.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is the building 4 stories?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay,
But you're only seeking a variance for the carriage house.
Yeah, the variance is, so to be clear, the front house complies with the zoning
that pretty
ordinance.
much remains as is.
Yeah.
In terms of size.
In terms of size, we're expanding the footprint slightly, but
Right.
we are seeing that 700 square foot rule is met.
That was my question.
Yeah. Yeah, that's correct.
So what you're really looking for is a variance for the apartments in the carriage house.
Correct.
Yeah, so I have a problem with 350 feet apartment.
That's small, isn't it?
It's really small.
Yeah, I don't think it sets a good precedent for our city. And I also think it's a self-created problem, which is right on our thing there. I mean, I think since you're building it, you can make it whatever you need to make it, or you can add. I know you can't add square footage, but you could reduce the number of apartments. I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's too small.
Yeah. So I'm also, I have units myself, as I'm an architect, but I've got some rental units. Those units in that category rent really well. They're really appealing to students and to young professionals. 350 square feet. I mean, I could show you a floor plan. It's relatively comfortable. I actually have a hard time renting my apartments that are bigger than that, just because.
Well, I understand having
Yeah.
like a 3-bedroom is hard to rent. That's not even a 1-bedroom. It's
Can,
like-
can you show us the floor plan?
Yeah, I can show you a floor plan. Right here, you have a bedroom, common space, kitchen. and This looks out to this common area here. You know, it's a studio apartment. It's
Just small,
fairly common, yeah.
a small studio.
Code calls for 700.
So this is the existing footprint of the carriage house. We're actually extending out.
Okay.
Did you see it? Right? So we have kitchen, dining area, kitchen, living, dining in this kind of common area. And then a small bedroom here with the bathroom. Shared washer dryer.
What's the dimensions on that bedroom?
I can't see in this print, but it's well above 70 square foot, like, you know. Minimum. I'd have to find it, but I would imagine closer to 110 square feet.
And then what about the kitchen, living?
So that is 12 feet by roughly. No, 12 feet by roughly 16 feet.
What's the target rent? Like, what are you gonna try to run them for?
I'm not the owner, but I don't know. You know,
Yeah.
I think
Doesn't matter.
market
Yeah,
rate.
just-
Yeah.
What is the total square footage of the carriage house, the layout now, without the apartments?
Well, he's adding to the footprint, so.
Yeah, so the new proposed footprint, excuse me. The new proposed footprint is 1,120 square feet for the footprint.
It would be nice for 2 apartments,
Yeah.
honestly.
If you look, I think if you look at from a development strategy, there's a nice variety of sizes of apartments available between the carriage house and the front house. Again, as in my experience as a landlord, those units are really beneficial to
Are you
people
telling
looking
me that you
for.
have 350 square foot apartments
I do, yes.
in Troy?
Yep.
Where?
I have one, it's 165 4th Street.
On Fourth?
In fact, my larger units, I typically have people asking if they have smaller, if we have smaller.
Yeah, but they're not,
But-
they're comparing like a 3-bedroom, so smaller, they're like,
Well-
I understand, well, I'm a real estate person, so I
Yeah,
understand
yeah.
1-bedrooms are sweet, you can
Yeah,
rent them all day long, and this is not even a 1-bedroom, it's a room.
Have you applied for a demolition permit?
not yet.
Do you intend to?
Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah, well, what are you preserving of the old structure, of the old carriage house?
Mainly the rear facade on Williams Street. I don't know if you have. So. If you scroll down, this is the current state of the rear facade. That will effectively remain intact. We're probably gonna have to rebuild quite a bit of it, but that's what you see there is essentially what we're salvaging. Everything else in that carriage house is gonna be.
Are you building new sidewalls, or is it a party wall that's already existing, or what?
It's a party wall, but to not stress the very delicate brick, we're effectively building a new wall on the inside of the brick and then having it with a new footing. So our structure is effectively self-sustained with, you know, and this is kind of.
And what about the west side, the courtyard side?
The courtyard side, we're extending now. If you
So
scroll
you're gonna
up.
put a new footing down for that?
Yeah, yeah. Foundation. Yeah, we're extending out 12 feet this way. And that'll be its new footing.
So the code requirement of 700 feet applies to buildings existing at the time of the adoption of the ordinance. And the issue I think that the applicant has raised is the structure that they intend to build, an existing building or a new building. Because for new buildings, 356 square feet is a lot. For old buildings, and I think the purpose was to avoid cutting up perfectly good apartments and making them into small little cubicles for people to live in.
Right.
I don't know if that purpose is being defeated by anything they propose. I mean, that's something to think about, for the board to think about. Is it new construction essentially, or is it really just?
It sounds like it's new construction to me.
If you took the last wall down, it would be the wall on the alley there on William Street.
It sounds like only one
Wall
wall.
will
over
remain.
walls remain, right?
Yeah, I think
And you're building a wall behind it.
it's,
to not
it's almost a
strip the bricks.
philosophical question at a certain point. At what point is it still an existing building? But to your point, my reading of the zoning ordinance, and I don't disagree with it, was to prevent people from taking existing 1 and 2 bedroom and 3 bedroom buildings and chopping those up. You know, we're basically dealing with a building that, you know, I think is in disrepair and, you know, is vacant. And
And you're definitely getting a demolition permit.
yes, 100%. Yes.
I mean, so in essence, it's actually a new build.
Yeah,
That's the applicant's position, and that's for you to determine whether or not you agree.
So, sorry, go ahead, Steve.
Question,
It's not that hard.
let's go back to the courtyard side. Leave William Street side alone. You're gonna come out. Why don't you just come out farther and increase the internal square footage of each unit, and we wouldn't be having this discussion? If you came out an additional 10 or 15 feet into that courtyard area,
yeah,
then put your wall up, what would you increase the size of those units to?
I think we'd have to come out quite a bit. And if
Well, how much distance do you have in the courtyard?
we are trying to preserve a little bit of common area there. We also
I
have,
understand that, but how much distance do you have in the courtyard? How large from one end of the courtyard to the other?
so who's navigating this? Can you go, Angie, can you go to the renderings that we have?
Just reduce the size of the courtyard and you get your 600 square feet.
We do have, you can't see it here, but in another plan, we do have a new stair here for egress.
That's the old building to the right.
Yeah,
To the left. and-
yeah, this is the
Yeah, that's the old
existing
building,
building.
yeah.
This is the footprint of the existing carriage
Yep.
house. Encroaching more into this courtyard, as you can see, I think we're getting uncomfortably tight.
Mhm.
You didn't answer my question. What are the dimensions of the courtyard?
We've got 34 feet in this direction, but only 16 feet here.
Okay,
If you came out on the 34-foot section to be equivalent with the 16-foot section, how much additional room would that give you per unit? I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
Yeah. I'd have to work out that math. I'm not sure we'd get there. We would be losing this courtyard that is already fairly tight. But respectfully, I would just go back to the point that it's my interpretation that the zoning ordinance does not restrict new construction from having less than 700 square feet.
So we look at it,
How
my
we-
understanding is if we look at it and say, yeah, it is new building, basically. He can have the smaller units.
Is that for
How we
us to
interpret.
determine, or is that for the city to determine?
No.
The building department has agreed with my interpretation that it is in fact a new construction.
They're here, I mean, you made the application on whose recommendation?
Building department, once it's here, it's based on building department's recommendation.
So if the building
Yeah.
department sent it here, they weren't entirely
weren't.
sure.
I'm more here on the planning department's recommendation, not the building department.
Yeah, but we understand that, but if it usually, it starts with building department. That is where the application is supposed to start from. So if you are here today, it means that Carlo agrees with us that it does need the variance requested. Because we,
So
if
the
if he
building
doesn't
department
agree, then
believes it's old
it's,
construction.
he had an option to
Right.
kind of send us an email or write off that we don't need a variance. But once you're here, it means that he agrees that you need a
I
variance.
guess I'm saying if you look at it as, if everyone agreed that it was new construction, so it's a question, okay? If everyone agreed that it was new construction, if it was, you know, if there hadn't been a building existing before that they weren't trying to preserve the one wall of, then they wouldn't need a variance.
Correct.
If you agree that it's new, or if you feel that it's more new construction than reuse of an older building, it won't hurt to entertain the variance application.
You're keeping one wall,
Correct.
The back
just
wall.
that one brick wall, and then we got, everything's new around us.
Yeah, there, if,
Yeah, that, I don't need to see it again.
yeah, there is, we are keeping a corbelling detail on the rear side that's kind of like in the inside of the apartment,
And is
but
that structural or
effectively-
decorative,
it's decorative.
which makes it even,
Why are you not
Which makes
taking
it-
that wall down?
In the rear,
Yeah.
Historic asked if we could somehow keep that, preserve it, so on the inside of the apartment, you could appreciate the historic corbelling. They kind of pose it to us as a, if you can, and so we basically have a steel
I mean,
beam running.
it's not like a decorative wall that looks really nicely from the picture,
Yeah.
you know?
no, but they're keeping, I mean, it's a dividing wall, right? It's like one apartment's on one side, one apartment's on the other side of the brick. That's on the inside.
So
Where's that
Yeah.
brick?
this
It's on the-
effectively right, you can't really see it in this plan, but right in here is the existing rear brick wall.
Okay,
That's effectively being demolished with the exception of the top cornice that will be held by a steel beam that's the structural element. The cornice will be visible from the inside of the apartment as like a remnant of the old carriage house, but, you know,
You're not gonna be able to see any of the original building from the outside of the building.
no.
just the inside.
I mean, it, really, I mean, this is a new building, like, it's, you know,
I'm still just on that whole, like, why don't we just take it down? Like.
This building is in the historic district, so they also have
Oh,
their
okay,
recommendations.
That's the reason, all right.
for what it's worth, when the facade that is remaining is sort of reconstructed and salvaged, a lot of it is probably gonna come down and be rebuilt. I suspect that, you know, it's hard to say now until the mason starts working on it, but the bricks are falling out, you know what I mean? It's,
Old
Yeah,
age.
Yeah, I get it, it's just, it was just,
Yeah.
I would be inclined to agree it's new construction.
Substantively, yes.
I think you should.
I think we should vote on, or should vote on if that's new construction or not.
If our opinion is that it's new.
Why don't you just, what's before you is an application.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you have to do the seeker and vote on whether or not the variance. You can give the reasons for
Okay,
why you're not objecting to the 356 feet, okay? And put those on the record.
Okay.
Okay.
all right, so we need seeker.
Before we do, I want to again confirm that we have a short environmental assessment form on file.
yes.
It's part of your packet, EV.
Oh, okay, because I don't have it here.
It's here, it's showing up. Everything I'm putting up is
Beautiful.
on there. Right?
All right, Mr. Chairperson, in regard to PLZBA 2025-0037, as supported by the staff reports, and the short environmental assessment form noted on the screen, I ask that the board find this proposal to be an unlisted seeker action with sufficient information available for a negative declaration.
a second,
I approve.
proof.
Yes.
Approve.
Approve.
So so it's an area variance, correct? And I don't know. Are we saying that we will or will not?
So you're considering whether or not to grant an area variance and
In
you can
light
give,
of consideration that it's new construction.
We are not gonna grant the variance.
are going to grant.
But I didn't think he needed the variance if it was new construction.
Here, I'll do it. Want me to do it?
You go.
All right.
But-
I'd like to make
because
a
it doesn't-
motion that the zoning board approve PLZBA 2025-0037 to expand and rehabilitate the carriage house in the back of 84th Street. The question arises whether this is new construction or rehabilitating a pre-existing building. I believe that the carriage house essentially is going to be new construction, in which case the required unit size of 700 square feet is a moot point.
Would not apply.
Would
Does
not
not
not be
apply.
required.
I have everything I need in there, Rick.
No, you just.
Why don't you hit one of the
Oh,
tests or
because,
two? Okay, but
And we
So-
would vote to approve
well,
the
and I,
relief request.
well, I do not believe that it will create an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood. Or have an adverse effect or impact on the physical environmental conditions in the neighborhood.
That's all you need.
I second that motion, especially with regards to the characterizations of new construction.
Holy roll.
I vote to approve.
I vote to approve.
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 Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Have a good night.
Good night.
Still think we're small.
What's that?
I still think we're 300. I couldn't.
I do too.
I mean, I live in a 1,200 square foot house. I couldn't-
Okay, the next business is PLZBA 2025-0036. 244 to 246 First Street.
Just move forward. We're not gonna do it.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, members of the board, for the opportunity to present tonight. My name is Jesse Batis. I'm the Senior Vice President for Development at Community Builders. We're here to present the Poston Hill Place project. This is an 81-unit mixed income development. We originally had this development proposed back in 2018, where we were approved zoning variances as well as our planning approval. Since that time, there's a bit of a long history that I'll go through in a moment as to why this development was delayed, but we're excited to move it forward. Our organization, Community Builders, we're a 60-year-old nonprofit. We have 2 operating properties here in the city of Troy. This is a joint development effort with Unity House of Troy, founded in 1971, another nonprofit service provider. The site is the former Seward Equipment Site, 244 First Street. This is almost 2-acre lot. It is a DEC brownfield. We have a brownfield cleanup agreement with the state to go to what we're hoping will be a track 1 cleanup, which means all material will be removed. It was permitted back in 2018. It was renewed through 2020. We submitted a financing application to the state of New York, HCR, at which point the state said, until we get some sense of when the salt pile will be moving, we didn't want to approve this project. They felt that they were concerned about residents moving in and the salt pile still being there.
And what be in there? Sorry.
The salt pile. Fast forward to the good news that the salt pile has an end date and that all of these agreements have been worked out, and the state has said they are comfortable moving forward with the development at this time. Unfortunately, intervening time, we've lost our zoning and our planning board approvals, and so we're here today to reintroduce the development and hopefully seek your approval. Again, a quick look at the timetable here. This goes back to 2017. 2018, we had our approvals in place. 2020, we renewed. And then 2023, we did demolish the site. So it's been a clear site. We recently have gone through a new landscaping company, cleaned it up, tried to make sure that it's looking good. We did some repairs on the fencing, things of that nature. And our goal here is to get to a financing closing next year. So our original seeker neg deck and site plan approval in 2018, this project is essentially the same. We've made some revisions primarily in conversation with the fire department. We did present this to the planning board back in April. The fire department shared several concerns that we've since had 2 really constructive meetings with the deputy chief, who I know is here today, to try to address both construction issues and operational issues. One of them was regarding the ability for a fire truck to get within the interior courtyard space and turn around in the event of a fire. We've modified that plan. The other issue was the distance of the building to a power line. We've since moved the building back. It has not substantially altered the building. This is also changed to a type 1 action due to the listing of the Lindy's Hardware building. So we understand that there'll be seeker review required. And there'll be a change of zoning and permitted uses that we're requesting in this variance. With that introduction, I'll turn it over to my technical team, who will present some of the details around what the variances are that we're requesting.
Good evening.
You can hold it. I mean, hold it.
Okay, sorry. Kelsey Carr with Labello Associates. I'm the civil engineer for the project. So we're here tonight requesting 3 variances from you guys. So to take a step back, so the first is the use variance. So when Recode Troy was adopted in 2023, the zoning of the property changed to business development, which does not allow residential dwellings with the exception of 2 types. So they do allow live work units or conversion of existing non-residential structures to multifamily dwellings. So under the original approvals, the property was zoned in the industrial district, and that allowed residential dwellings above the first floor, which is what we have had designed since 2018. So looking at the zoning map that we've got on the screen there, I think it's important to note that the hardship that was created by the rezoning is unique to this property. So the entire block was rezoned. However, the 6 existing properties to the north of the block are existing 2-family and multifamily dwellings, which technically are not permitted in this zone. However, they are grandfathered in as existing non-conforming uses. The property to the south, the Lindy's Hardware building, if that were to be redeveloped, it would fall into the category of conversion of an existing structure to multifamily, which again is a permitted use. Looking further north, east, and south of our block, the zones were changed to mixed use 1 and multifamily, which both allow for multifamily dwellings. So really the change in the zoning very much impacted this specific property, which already had a previous approval for multifamily dwellings. So with use variances, there's a financial aspect that needs to be considered. So this property will require significant upfront costs to perform the soil remediation at the site. It's also located within the floodplain, which obviously has risks. So the ground floor parking proposed in the site will overcome that, but any typical development is going to likely have ground floor development, which is going to have risks. So basically, because of all of those upfront costs, the property as of now has a negative property value. And so any other permitted uses in this zone are likely going to be financially infeasible. There's also the significant investment that the applicant has already made into the site investigations, the project design, building demolition, and property maintenance, which is all stemming from a delay in funding that was outside of our control. So I think the reality is that the proposed multifamily use, it was previously approved at this property. It's consistent with the adjacent property uses in the broader neighborhood, and it's going to address a stated need for affordable housing in Troy. The next request is for an area variance related to the setback on Ida Street. The intensity zone requires a 10-foot maximum setback, where we are proposing a 27-foot setback. And as Jesse had noted, this setback is being provided to address the fire department concerns related to the building proximity to the high voltage electric lines that are on Ida Street. So we're providing that additional separation for safety reasons. And it will also, if this variance is approved, it will create a public benefit, allowing the opportunity to create a public green space in that area. The last request is an area variance for roof form. So the code requires that large roof surfaces be interrupted by roof features or changes in roof form to reduce the perception of large scale buildings. So we are proposing to meet the intent of the code through color and material variation, as well as projections in the building wall that are designed to draw the attention away from the fourth story of the building. So as you'll see in the rendering, there's lighter colors used on the upper floor to kind of have it blend back with the sky. And then as you get closer to the south edge of the property where the main entrance will be, it does have darker colors near the top, but that's consistent with the scale of the Lindy's Hardware building. So I think with that, what we're looking for tonight is obviously your input on those 3 variance requests. And because of the complexity and what is typically can be a difficult approval for a use variance, we're hoping that you, the zoning board, would serve as lead agency for the seeker review, so that we can run the seeker review concurrently with the variance review. I'll turn it over to you guys.
You already presented to the planning board?
Yes, we did.
Did they?
They did not take any action that night just because of the concerns that were raised by the fire department.
And did you ask them to become lead agent, to declare an intent to become lead agency?
Yeah, I mean, we did initially, but because that is the typical route that you would go. But having had further discussions, I think, knowing that we need a use variance, which can be more difficult, we thought it might be best that the zoning board serve in that role so that we don't have to jump back and forth between the 2 boards. And
Did you provide the planning board and eventually to us any of the environmental documents relating to the brownfield agreement, the salt pile, what's transpired in terms of 7 years of whatever you're doing with regards to affected soils, plans for cover of the brownfield of it's been a while since I've dealt with that subject matter, but a non-permeable cover. I mean, have you provided any documentation to any city organization with regards to those?
so the seeker full EAF that was provided to both the planning board and the zoning board has significant attachments included with that, including the letters from the DEC related to the brownfield program. I mean, we have the environmental site assessments that have been performed. We could provide additional documentation related to the BCP.
You have provided or you can provide?
We provided some of it, but I mean, we haven't provided some of the reports are very lengthy, but we can provide more if you need.
Well, yeah, whatever approval you indicate in 2018, it's been, 7 years. I mean, efforts have been underway presumably. And so there's whatever was on file and what there should be some connection of the dots of what's transpired. I mean, I think there's a lot we have to go through to even, consider some of these steps. I mean, brownfields are significant. Now you're adding in salt pile issues.
Sure. So 2 separate issues. The salt
Agreed.
pile was a condition for HCR in terms of what they viewed as site suitability, not environmental. So they didn't like the idea of the visual impact of the salt pile and the proximity of it to the residences, given effectively it's a bad look. The bigger issue on the brownfields is that we have a brownfield cleanup agreement in place with the DEC. We do regular reporting to DEC regarding the condition of the site. The issues that we're dealing with subgrade are historic fill in nature And so the impacts of the soil underneath the site is really just an incompatible soil. It's dirty soil. And so our cleanup of the soil is not, for example, there's a major cleanup going on at the King Fuel site. It's not something that would affect potable water. It's not something that would affect things of that nature, where there would be a health and safety situation that would migrate off the site. And we've been working with the DEC in terms of our reporting, putting this into what is essentially an on-hold cleanup.
Well,
This
it
was not a
depends on
state.
the
this was not-
topography and other issues and what cover you put over the soil. I mean, it's not just an irrelevant concern.
Understood. And I think we can work with the DEC to provide further backup documentation as to the conditions that they view the site, if helpful for the board to make their decisions moving forward.
Well, we,
Excavating?
Excuse me?
Are you excavating the contaminated soils?
Once we receive our permitting and our financing, yes, we're going to excavate all contaminated material from the site.
And what are you replacing it with?
Clean fill.
what,
To what depth?
There's a chart that we can provide for you in the brownfield cleanup program agreement. But anywhere from 6 feet to, I believe, 20 feet.
and my experience with salt piles are not just visual or aesthetic. The salt can permeate into the ground as well. So is that an issue?
To be clear, the salt pile is not on our site. The salt pile is the pile that, the rock salt pile that is up against the riverfront.
Is that above, is that an elevated location such that the rain can wash it down through?
It's
the-
it's down gradient.
It's down gradient, not up gradient.
Couple of quick questions. The salt piles were never on this physical property, correct?
That is correct.
They have been removed, correct?
The salt pile is still in place along the riverfront. But there is an agreement in place between all of the parties, including the city, to have it removed by 2028.
So there's an agreement that everyone is committed to remove the salt piles by 2028.
That's my understanding. I can share all the documentation I have from the city and
I'd
from the
like to
news.
see that. The other question I have goes back to what you brought up, is the brownfield, and where does DEC stand on this in terms of a physical site review prior to anyone breaking ground or doing excavation? Do you have the green light in writing from the DEC that the site has been looked at, reviewed, and you're good to go? Or is that pending?
Good question. So we have a brownfield cleanup agreement with DEC, which is the document that states that we agree to clean up the site in conformance with and under the review of and monitoring of the DEC.
But that has not yet been done.
No.
It's just an agreement that becomes part of this.
So there's a timeline and a process of different documents that we can provide for you in a follow-up, which include we would do what they call a remedial investigation work plan, which we've done.
Okay,
That states, here's our investigation, here's what we'll do. That was the remedial investigation. We went through the whole work plan, had it approved. We provided that documentation back. We've completed a remedial action plan, which has been approved by DEC. The final piece will be what they call waste characterization, which means we go in, we do more borings and tests just to state, on a grid, this is going to this dump site, this is going to this depth, to provide further detail on just the final details for construction. And then the state will provide what they call it's a final document that they'll provide for us that summarizes everything. It's called the decision document that states, here's all the steps we took to get to this process. We've agreed for you to move forward with the cleanup. Please go ahead and clean up.
okay, a couple other questions. You had mentioned, or perhaps you had mentioned, that this is a non-profit project. Am I correct in that assumption?
Yes, our organization is a not-for-profit.
So is Post and Kill Place, or whoever owns Post and Kill Place, a 501c3?
Great question. No, we are a not-for-profit sponsor who will be the owner and operator we create a limited partnership entity that allows us to use affordable housing tax credits to develop the site. So an investor will give us money in exchange for tax credits we get allocated from
So
the
it's a
state.
limited partnership.
Yes, but the
Investors
sponsor,
come through the bank or the funding mechanism, and they get tax credits to apply on their personal return, and that's how you raise the capital to move this forward.
that's correct.
Most limited partnerships in conjunction with that are also looking down the road once the tax credits and the depreciation have been utilized or run out to then resell the property or remarket the property for capital gain.
So-
Is that part of your long-term thinking?
No, what we would typically do with our recapitalization, we're a long-term owner. And our regulatory agreement will run under what they call an extended use agreement for 50 years, at least.
At least.
At least. And so under the initial regulatory agreement, which is usually 15 years plus 5,
Yep.
we will be operating the site ourselves, and then we remove the investor. And then what we typically do is put tax credits back on it and
How do you
reinvest it and
remove
rehab.
the investor? You buy them out?
Yes,
Where does the capital come to buy the investor out?
it's typically debt plus exit taxes. So we acquire the debt that's on the property. We purchase the property for that. But we have a right of first refusal. We negotiate with the investor to purchase the property because under the LIHTC program, a qualified nonprofit has the right of first refusal to buy it.
If you're a licensed non-for-profit, are you going to be paying property tax and school tax to the city of Troy, or are you exempt?
Because we would be a limited partnership, we would be subject to taxes.
You would be subject to paying taxes.
Correct.
So there would be no tax abatement.
That's correct.
Do you have anything in conjunction with IDA?
We have not submitted anything to the IDA. We did submit back in, I believe it was 2019. We were denied at the time. So right now there is no pilot in place on the property.
Was that the county IDA or the city IDA?
City IDA.
Do you intend to go back to the city IDA, or are you going to stand pat with what you've got?
Full disclosure, we'd love to go back for a pilot. And
Oh, I
we're
bet.
thinking about it, but I mean, we are subject to an alternate assessment means as affordable housing under the 581A program.
Okay, you mentioned a delay in funding. Where does the delay of funding come in from the time you started this to the year 2025? What was the cause of the delay in funding? Interest rates have only gone up over the last few years, not down.
And it's cost us a tremendous amount of money to hold.
Oh,
the
I
property.
bet you.
We have multiple pre-development loans out, both for the acquisition, the demolition, and all the pre-development costs. I would have loved for this to be funded in 2020 when we submitted our applications, but the state made the determination at the time, people at HCR, that they wanted to see more progress on the salt pile and seeing that it was moving.
More
They knew
progress on the what?
the salt pile being moved.
Oh, the
They knew
salt
that there
pile.
was this big redevelopment plan planned for the riverfront, and they did not want to put their money in first. They wanted to see progress on the whole plan before they
But
would.
the
submit it.
salt pile still sits there today.
But with an agreement in place to move.
with
Which
an
they didn't
agreement
have in
place to
2020.
Remove it by 2028.
That's my understanding, yes.
Okay.
Can I ask what toxins they've found? Do you know?
I don't have the exact report in front of me. I know it's primarily heavy metals, lead, some mercury issues, I think, if I remember correctly, arsenic, things of that nature. There's a chart of what they call soil cleanup objectives to get to track 1 cleanup and what the action level is. And so we had higher levels across the site for various different things.
You have 81 units proposed, correct?
Yes.
Can you explain to me where parking comes into play?
Sure. Kelsey, do you want to take the technicals?
Go back to the site plan. So if you look, sorry, it's delayed. If you look at the site plan here, so the entire U-shaped building is going to be ground floor parking beneath the building. So because we're in the floodplain, we have to build the residential above the floodplain. So the ground floor, the first floor is going to be parking. And then there'll be 3 residential floors above. And then we have some additional exterior spaces for visitors, ADA, and EV chargers.
Let me go back and make sure I grasp this. What I would think of as the first floor of the building is really going to be parking under the building that begins on floor 2 and goes up. Is that correct?
Yes. In this area, the floodplain is roughly about 7 feet above grade.
Okay,
So everything below that is essentially needs to be flood-proof construction, which residences, it's not a feasible thing to do.
so the residences really begin on floor 2.
Right.
Yes.
And where we would think floor 1 would be parking underneath floor 2.
Yes.
And then you have perimeter parking in addition.
Yes.
How many spots do you think that gives you?
I think we had done, you had completely, yeah.
We have 85 total parking spaces, and we prepared a TDMP, parking assessment and transportation demand management plan, which shows that for the affordable housing use, 81 spaces are required, so 1 space per unit,
Got it.
and we're providing 85.
Okay.
I think one of the things too, which is important to note, is the rezoning actually allowed us to reduce sort of the number of spaces on site, which was, a neighborhood complaint with the number of parking spaces.
That was one of my concerns. What about electric vehicle charging stations?
We are providing them, yes. It's a requirement of HCR now. So we're meeting the city code requirement as well.
So I have a question for council. So I've never heard them ask for lead agent, for us to be lead agent. That's not common? Is that okay? Is that something we don't even consider? Or I know it might be a dumb question, but my apologies.
It's not a dumb question. I haven't had any experience where the zoning board was asked to be lead agency.
What does it mean?
It's-
Like, what does it mean for us? Like, we are the lead agents.
It means that you would conduct the environmental review. Because this is a type 1 action, there has to be a lead agency. Notices have to be sent out to all the involved and interested agencies. 30 days have to pass, at which point you can, tonight, I mean, if you wanted to satisfy the applicant, you could declare your intent to act as lead agency, and then if no one objected or, or consented to, if everyone consented to you being lead agency, then you would declare yourself lead agency after 30 days. And then because this, then you would conduct the environmental review, most likely based on a full environmental assessment form.
But that's not typical. Typically, the zoning board does
It's
not.
not,
ever act as
it's
a
not,
lead agent.
it's not typical for the zoning board. It is typical for the planning board. And I think they did ask the planning board
Yeah.
to do that. So, I mean, you don't have to declare yourselves as lead agency.
Okay, I never had anyone ask that before.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to ask.
All right. I have 2 questions for the applicant. One is, at what point in the brownfield program does a health and safety plan get developed? And the second question is, what are your other 2 operations in the city of Troy that you mentioned at the start?
Sure. The health and safety plan is developed with the remedial action plan. So I believe that's already developed.
So that is already developed?
Yes,
Have you provided that to the board?
we will certainly follow up, and I have to review what was submitted with the application.
Okay.
Our other operating properties, we purchased the Monument Square property, Monument Square Apartments in 2012. And we owned the Tapestry on the Hudson project, which is located at 599 River Street, which we developed with Unity Houses Partnership.
Okay.
I've got a couple of questions. You mentioned it being on a floodplain, doing flood proofing. What kind of plan, once you complete your remediation of the contaminated soil, what is the plan, given that you're on a floodplain, for the cap or cover over the brownfield property?
So when we're complete, there'll be no cover because our intention is to go to track 1 cleanup, which means there's no remaining material in place that would constitute a brownfield. So the cap would just be typical concrete slab that we'd be constructing to facilitate foundations.
And DEC is fine with that?
Oh, yeah. Now, if we were not to go to track 1, the next step would be track 2. Track 2 means for whatever reason, operationally, the dewatering, inability to get to soil, that we could not clean it to a track 1 level. If we did track 2, it would be a cover as designed and approved by DEC. But there's no design for that right now because our intention is to remove all the soil.
Depends on how the soil remediation work goes.
That's right.
Has planning approved the building that you showed us? The building itself? Yeah. that-
2018.
Yeah, but way back when, not, we had to resubmit because
It's a new app.
it's a new application. But I think, Kelsey did say at the outset, our intention here is to bring it to the ZBA because we understand there are, use variances required here. And before we get any further with the planning board, our hope is that the ZBA will act and provide us the ability to construct the site, at which point we work through any planning issues with the planning board, either concurrently or in sequence.
I mean, the problem is no action can be taken by this board or the planning board until the seeker is determined. And because it's a type 1, some agency will ultimately have to be lead agency, whether you've, but you don't have to be, that's,
I don't think
We're not going to be.
we're not going, okay. Well, then they'll have to go back to the planning board for that.
I'd like to ask somebody a question. I don't know who has the answer. I know that they want to do this. There's probably some people who don't want it to happen in the neighborhood. Because of its environmental badness, what else can be done there besides families or a store? Like, what are some of the other things that like, if we don't allow it to become a multifamily site, what was it that the zoning, when they redid the rezone Troy, what were they hoping would be there?
I think it's zoned industrial right now or light industrial. The current zoning.
Business development.
Business
It used to
development.
be industrial, now it's business
So
development.
business
Business
development, so that
development, okay.
means stores?
Uh,
What does that even mean?
Well, I mean, it could mean light industry, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
essentially,
not
essentially,
specific,
that's what
yeah.
it means, really.
I think one of the things that's worth, understanding about the site is, not all of South Troy has a 7-foot above grade limit for the floodplain. This particular area has a substantially high, so there really isn't a possibility to get ground level, street level commercial in this area for future development of the waterfront. So that's one of the limiting factors.
And I'll just note also, we have presented to the neighborhood associations, to Little Italy, to Osgood, really strong conversations with those folks. Continue to try to, socialize this. We did have support letters from the Riverfront Association back when it was actively meeting before it started meeting with Little Italy. So, we're continuing to work with the neighborhood and the community.
What? Say it again?
Is there any
Yeah,
comments?
they do have commercial first floor.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if they're the same floodplain or not.
It's not the same use.
Good evening. My name is Jared Berenger. I'm the Deputy Chief of the City of Troy Fire Department. I am here to speak out against a change of variance, just because the substantial impact of what it would have on the neighborhood itself and also for the fire department and police department. My role is I do deal with code, planning and development and how it will affect the public safety aspect of it. As mentioned, they have two other properties that are being developed. It's not just an issue that we're seeing with just community builders or Unity House or that group in a whole. It's just it's a unique problem that we have for affordable housing within the city of Troy. It's a unique population, especially when we bring Unity House into that aspect. And I'm not speaking negatively about any of those programs, but when we put large amounts of those of that population into one site, it negatively affects that neighborhood. We're seeing that greatly at 752nd Avenue. the old standard manufacturing building that's now the Lion Factory. It is negatively affecting, blocks around that area with the similar population. Go ahead, sir.
Could you give me some examples of negative impact that you're referencing?
We're talking call volumes in the upper hundreds on the police side, well over 100 to 200 on the fire side and EMS side. We have neighbor complaints greatly on just because you're taking almost like a 6 block square radius and putting it into one section of a vulnerable population. And
What are
we're
the
seeing it
calls
great.
relative to? What kind of specific problems are you referencing?
We're talking structure fires to EMS calls, to overdoses, to stabbings, to assaults, to, and it's not unforeseen. We're seeing this at 621 River, 599 River. We are seeing this at 150 River, which is brand new Taylor Apartments, Building 1. We see this at a similar property and similar
The
population.
brand new Taylor
Yes.
that just went up by the bridge.
Correct. So that, and I'm not speaking negatively on
No.
any part of it, but unfortunately, it's the realism of placing this amount of into one section, into one building. 81 units, we can compare that to Lansingburg Apartments. Last year, we were there 230 times on calls, and that's just the fire department. If we continue to place these buildings into, we are at our breaking point as the fire department. And staffing to address this, we're talking millions and millions of dollars to increase our staffing that we're fighting very hard to do.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we're seeing, and I want to state that I worked at Station 6, which is a block and a half from this location. I worked there for many years. My father retired out of that location. When I came on the job, right prior to me coming on the job 22 years ago, I lived at 376 4th Street, which is 2 blocks from this location. This type of building does not fit in this part of the city. We're starting to see TAP redevelop with 1 and 2 family structures just 2 blocks north on the old St. James. So we're seeing other development that will fit this area. The other part of this is if we wanted to build a structure, we can compare it to the old brick building at 2 River Street, which is only a few blocks north. Last year, we went there one time on a call that building has much higher population, but it's market rate. So that's how the comparison between market rate and affordable housing within the city, we're talking hundreds and hundreds of calls.
Okay.
So if I were to speak right now, and my suggestion, I'm looking to deny the variance unless this was going to be a market rate or it's going to match the neighborhood in a 1 or 2 family side or light industrial. And I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Come forward.
No, there's other people.
I just say, I will state that we have met on multiple occasions. They have been very receptive on anything that we can to help reduce call volume in that area. I just don't have faith that that's what's going to, we have met and they're very receptive for those changes. The changes on the site plan are very conducive. So if this building were to go forward, that they will, the changes in the courtyard, the changes of moving it back away from the high power tension lines, things like that have made the construction, they've worked with us to make those changes, to make that building adaptable for the fire department.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Sam.
Louder,
I'm sorry.
please.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Sam Chapone. I live on Ida Street. I live in a home that's been in our family for 100 years, and I also have multiple properties in the neighborhood. I'm speaking tonight kind of in summary to a letter that I had sent to the board. I was part of the planning process and the committee that brought that comp plan to life in the city of Troy. I'm not speaking on behalf of any of the committee. I'm speaking solely as a single member of that committee. There's been some discussion tonight as to, the zoning and all of that. But I'd really like to emphasize that the Recode Troy is a result of the city's planning process through the comp plan. And through that process, which I was part of for close to 18 months to 24 months, I forget how long it took, we really took a hard look at, well, how can we set a vision for the city of Troy that'll be sustainable over the next 20 years? And the rezoning that happened down in that area was the result of what was mentioned. It was looked at as an area to bring light industrial, high advanced manufacturing technologies and processes to that area to attract people that would be interested in good paying, middle class types of jobs to PhD level jobs in that area. The underlying intention of that, which is one reason why I was really wanted to be part of that plan, was to look at the overall tax structure within the city of Troy. At the time when the comp plan was going on, 54% of the people in the city of Troy that own properties were bearing the tax burden for the entire city of Troy. That's a major problem, okay? We've got a couple rental properties. I have my own properties. I was very, very interested in how could we fortify that tax base and kind of swing the pendulum the other way. The best way to do that was through the planning that had happened there, with that area being designated as light industrial, commercial, and business. With that, Recode Troy picked up on that plan, and that's where the rezoning changes had taken place. Yes, there are properties in that neighborhood which are houses. They've been houses since the 1800s. You're not going to knock those down and put new, light industrial in there. They're grandfathered in. This site has nothing on it. Okay, so it's new construction that should comply to the new zoning laws that were developed as a result of the comp plan. If we veer away from that, are we going to start to do a case-by-case zoning plan for the city of Troy, therefore throwing out all the work of the comp plan and throwing out all the work of Recode Troy? It's a vision for the city of Troy. If we veer from that vision, where are we headed, right? There may be some different avenues that we take, but we should look to that comp plan and to stick to the comp plan and to stick to the efforts of the Recode Troy and abide by that. As I said before, the long-term objective of that is to increase the paying taxes of businesses and everything in the city of Troy to reduce the tax burden on the rest of us in the city of Troy. So I'm not speaking for anyone who was on that committee. I'm speaking solely for myself. I respect the opinions of, the board. I respect the opinions of my neighbors, and I respect the work that Community Builders is doing. But I definitely think that it's important to stick to the plan and abide by what Recode Troy has done with the efforts of improving the tax base in the city of Troy. Tonight there were some discussions that I'm glad I was here tonight, because I hear the tax model that's proposed with people buying into this and the tax breaks they get and everything. I mean, that's really not fair. It's not fair. It's really not fair. And now I have another concern based on what I heard here tonight. So thank you for educating me. I appreciate that. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else that would like
Online or present?
anybody online?
I don't see anybody online. Want them to respond. I think they will. Yeah.
Does anybody else have anything?
I think
Anybody
he-
else have anything to add or?
Sure. First, I just want to acknowledge the work we've been doing with the deputy chief. I think he's brought a lot of concerns to the table here. We understand what he's seeing across the city. We've worked on everything from the design of the building as to just for safety, including, one of the biggest issues he cited are false alarm calls, right? People smoking in their apartments, people, pulling pull cords in senior buildings, things like that. we're working on, number one, both improving the situation in the buildings we have now. We've seen a year-by-year decrease in the calls since we placed those buildings in service, which Deputy Chief shared with me, but also we're looking at a very significant change in one of those buildings that we have, which we think would dramatically reduce the false alarm calls around whole court system. So again, totally valid concerns. We understand his issue, and he's been a great partner with trying to figure out design concerns that we can resolve there. And again, I just want to underscore the tax issue. We have not applied for a pilot. We would love a pilot. We haven't applied for anything right now. And certainly if there were conditions around getting the approval where we would not apply for a pilot, we wouldn't apply for a pilot. So our intention here is not to overburden the taxpayers here by getting a sweetheart deal. Our intention really is to just invest nearly $60 million in the city of Troy.
No, you can't do it. And you would have to, I mean, I guess the first request is that you declare intent to act as lead agency.
No.
So you,
We do not. I'll second that.
Okay, let's do the roll.
I agree with the decision not to be lead agency. I don't think, just as a qualification of that, I don't think we have sufficient information to even think about that.
I agree. We should not be lead agent.
I am not in favor of being a lead agent on this.
I'm not in favor also.
Nor I.
Because we
well,
don't have-
you can't take any other action, official action.
Because we can't vote because we don't have seeker.
No.
Correct.
We're done.
Okay.
They'll have to, I guess you'll have to go to the planning board.
Yeah, I think, I understand. I respect that, what you're saying. And maybe it's a conversation to be had after this with the planning staff as to what exactly what the route is. Just because our concern is, the zoning variances are first and foremost. So if it's a coordinated review under seeker by the planning board and the zoning board be an involved agency, what would the process be? Would we need to get site plan approval before the variances, or would we get referred back to the zoning board from the planning board?
You could get referred back from the planning board.
Okay.
But seeker would have to be done first.
Okay. All right, that's fine.
And my suggestion is, you provided a lot of references to communications and submissions to DEC that I don't think we have, or in as many of those documents, which I think we need.
Understood. We'll certainly provide all that documentation for the coordinated review. And I appreciate everybody's time tonight. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's no further business.
There is. We want, for the record, we wanted to say that we were going to start meeting at 5:30
Yeah, oh, yes.
In
yes.
August.
in August,
Yes,
starting in
yes,
August.
Yes.
Oh.
You good with that?
Do they want to vote on that? Oh,
Well,
don't
I-
think so.
Why don't you resolve to, if you have a motion to,
I thought we made a motion at the last meeting.
did we? I don't remember.
But
I'm sorry.
I'll resolve to make a motion.
I think the
and
last.
We voted last time on
that. Last month you made a motion for that.
Was it passed?
Yes,
Yes, it did.
With
pass.
flying colors.
5:30 in August.
Okay, so 5:30 in August. You're just reminding everybody.
Yeah.
about
Yeah,
what the board
in the
resolved.
email separately from the
Is there anything we have to do for? public
documents, in a reminder, it is, earlier, just people will be caught
Yeah,
up
I'm
with
probably gonna join you tonight.
summer plans.
If you'll have me. I didn't frustrate you too much tonight.
Yeah.
Well,